Welcome to week 3, everybody. We will be covering chapter 2, positive psychology, this week, forcing you to create new mindsets. And this is a concept we're going to talk a lot more about as we get into The Upside of Stress by Dr. Kelly Mcgonagall. This week you're going to be reading the introduction to that book and then diving in deeper next week. But this is a great chapter to start with. And kind of set the foundation as we go forward. So here's your to-do list for this week, and I suggest doing these things in this order. It makes the most sense. You want to check out the objectives for chapter 2, which I've posted here, and I have a podcast that goes with these objectives that I help explain a little bit more about each one of these sort of goals that you should be looking to answer and achieve as you're reading through the material. A good test of your knowledge is, can you answer these questions fully in kind of essay format without looking at your book, bringing up key concepts, key topics, definitions, and so forth. Each question is kind of a loaded question, not to be answered in 1 or 2 sentences. So this is a good guide to see if you're ready for the test after going through those. So then you want to read chapter 2, Positive Psychology, in the Harrington text. So look over the objectives, then read the chapter. Look over the lecture slides and compare those to the chapter. I've posted them here and you can take notes on them in any way that makes sense for you. They're there to help you focus in on key concepts. And then you can go ahead and read the introduction to The Upside of Stress by Kelly Mcgonagall. It's going to talk a little bit about why she wrote the book, what she hopes to achieve for you in this book. Again, the book was written for mainstream people, but it's packed with research. So it's an easy read, and I think that you guys are going to like it a lot, I hope. Once you've read that introduction, then you're going to be ready to watch the videos, and this week I have a longer video here, How of Happiness with Sonia Lubomirsky. She is a social psychologist in the area of positive psychology who works at the University of California, Riverside. This is where I did my doctorate work as well as my undergrad work. I worked with her in her lab for several years, and she's just an awesome person, inside and out, but also just really great at research, and she's done a lot of cross-cultural work on happiness and sort of its components, its elements, how to measure it, what it looks like for different people. And so I think you're going to like this. This is a talk that she gave at a conference, a happiness conference, and it's kind of sums up a lot of years of her research into one nice presentation. So I hope you enjoy watching that. Take some good notes. There's some good tidbits in there. I also have a video on empathy by Brene Brown, who I also love, looking at empathy as a key in love and relationships and the driving force behind compassion and forgiveness, as well as for purposeful living. We can't begin to understand others until we can empathize with them. So this is a short one, just a short little clip, as it says, shorts. And then another short clip, and this is more of an exercise clip. It's meant for you. It is a positive psychology. There's a couple different positive psychology exercises in this video. It's tied to your discussion question this week. So check it out. I want you to try one of the exercises. And they're a little personal, so I'm not going to ask you to describe in detail what you did, but I'd like you to try one out and see how it goes for you. And then we're going to talk just a little bit broadly about it in the discussion. So here's your discussion for this week. using the Harrington book, Chapter 2, Positive Psychology, and using the introduction of The Upside of Stress, you are to answer the following questions. There's a lot here, but this is a really important chapter. Like I said, it forms the groundwork of a lot of things, and I'm curious to see people's thoughts here. So in the first question, it's more of a personal question. It's not really based in research or anything like that. But Dr. Mcgonagall says in her book that what we're going to be looking at over the course of the book is academic stress, work stress, family stress, health stress, financial stress, and social stress, as well as the additional challenges of that are brought on by anxiety, depression, loss, trauma, anything we consider suffering. And so I want you to tell me, of all those stressors mentioned, which would you say have been the stressors you've been dealing with in the past year? How have you felt that you've dealt with them? And what do you think are going to be your top 10 stressors 10 years from now? So I just want you thinking a little bit about this. Stress in general, categories of stress. And so this is totally all you, okay? And then we get to some research-based questions here. What can we learn from Fredrickson's broaden and build model and her undoing hypothesis about how to cope with stress? What is that all about? What does it tell us about the benefits of positive emotions in the coping process? So we haven't talked a ton about coping quite yet. This is just the beginning. But what role do positive emotions play in buffering stress and what things that we face in life? Okay. Then also, how do well-being issues relate to stress and health? Here's a little more of a verge. If you were to map an optimal lifestyle and could select only 3 well-being practices, which would you select and why? So the book talks about some different practices of well-being. What do you think are like the top 3 and why? How does life meaning and purpose issues relate to stress and health? So again, I really want you thinking about the connections between stress and health. How does life meaning and purpose affect your sense of optimism and perception of control? How much control you perceive you have in life, and how might they affect your experiences of compassion, forgiveness, and gratitude? Those are some heavy hitters. Compassion, forgiveness, and gratitude. Do you have any personal examples of these? If so, explain. Maybe you have some examples of optimism or pessimism and how those have affected your experiences with any of these variables. And then lastly is watching the video on the positive psychology exercises I just mentioned, choosing to do one of those on your own. And then all I want you to do is tell me which one you chose and why. How'd you feel when you were starting the exercise, and how'd you feel after? So you don't have to explain what it is you did. Some of it might be personal, but why did you choose what you chose, and how'd you feel before and after? Did you discover anything about yourself in the process? So this is a little, trying to evoke some self-expression and self-exploration here, getting you to tie down some of the insides of where you might be right now, even in the midst of stress, if you are stressed out right now. And so these exercises might help you, and we'll be doing some more as we work through the Upside of Stress book. Is packed with various exercises she uses to get us to understand our stress a little bit more and work around it a little bit better. So again, your original response is due Friday, the 18th, and then your response to 3 other people by Sunday. You should be splitting it up. The main reason I do this is so that everyone has a chance to post by Friday. If we start diving in and responding to other people on Wednesday or Thursday or even early Friday, The people who post later Friday don't get anyone commenting on their posts, okay? So let's try to wait and do these comments to other people's posts on Saturday and Sunday. That will help spread it out a little bit and make sure that everyone gets some comments and can engage in the discussion that way. I've posted the Cite as You Write instructions for you. And so if you need to refer back to those, please do. If you need to refer back to the Start Here menu that has the discussion grading rubric, please do. This is week 3, so I'm going to hold you to your discussion timeline of when things are due. If you turn things in late, you're going to lose points for that. And I hope that you're using that rubric. That will help you out a lot. You do have an exam this week. Don't pay attention to this date here. I haven't changed it yet. As soon as the exam's available, I will post it, probably sometime Monday, and you'll have the whole week. But I recommend working through all the material, being very comfortable with it before you take that exam. The exam is going to really be your first, practice at how well you're retaining the information. You have 40 minutes to complete it. It will be 40 questions. So this is what I have here is not current. When you get this on Monday, this will pop up new and it'll have all the current information on it, including the due date. And so this is really going to be a chance to your first test to see how it goes. It will cover chapters 1 and 2 from the book, and that's it. Most exams in this class are going to be covering 2 chapters of material for the most part. So be looking for that. It won't pop up right away. So when you open your Play-Doh on Monday and you open to week 3, you won't see it right away. I'm still working on it. So as soon as I'm done with that, I will post it in there and you'll see it pop up at the bottom. And then you can go ahead and you have till Sunday to take that. And again, give yourself plenty of time. Use these objectives to help you study for the test. Quiz yourself. Use this as a kind of a guide to see if you know what you know. You can use any critical thinking questions from the back of the chapters that I didn't include in the discussion. Those would be helpful too. Definitions, flashcards, try to come up with examples for things. That's always very helpful too. That wraps up the week. Please let me know if you have any questions. My office hours did change. I want to make everyone aware of that. I had to rearrange my schedule a little bit. And so now Mondays and Wednesdays from 2 to 3:30 will be my official office hours. Of course, you can email me anytime, and I always try to respond back within 24 hours. But if you'd like to meet via Zoom or a phone call, those office hours are reserved for that. So just be aware of that. That's it. That wraps up week 3. And just let me know if you have any questions, if you get stuck on any concepts and you need more examples or illustrations or just want to talk it through, I am available.